Doug Nikhazy and Cole Zabowski. Coach, we want to start with the opening statement, and then we'll open for questions.
Obviously another terrific game by us, and Doug, as you saw, was fantastic. For 8+ innings, and against a really good offense, and just not a lot of traffic on the bases throughout the outing, but the few times that they did have runners, he does what he's done all year long, and I think still, even after whatever game it is, 60-something games, I think we're still amazed, that he as a freshman continues to do what he does. But of course, I think that's the story. But the other story is I just thought a great approach, by our hitters, Zebo and Coop with the home run, in the second inning. And then another part of the game that I think will get lost in all of it, besides the home runs and Doug, were the outstanding at bats where we continue to extend the lead. Even after the home runs in that inning, we got a walk by Keenan, walk by Elko, bunt by Servideo, and Lapasser, who's been on crutches for 3 weeks, gets him in, and it's kind of like that. It seemed like every other inning we were able to add on and just kind of keep them, at arm's length, and I think that was huge.
Questions?
Doug, it's like you're just kind of enjoying the environment out there. What was the whole day like from getting to the park all the way through that 8th inning?
The game sort of kind of flew by for me. It started to go by really quickly once I got past those first tough few innings, trying to figure out their offense and how to approach them. But after I got through it, then after I got through those hard innings, then I just started to enjoy it and really take it in, because that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience with that crowd.
You got 3 ovations there. At the last one, however, the standing ovation, what was that like for you in a postseason environment to get that response?
I mean, it was really incredible to see how great our fans were tonight, and how great they responded to the way we played tonight was just fantastic, and I was just really happy with the way it finished.
Doug, is there something to you turning it up these last 2 starts postseason play, most on the line that there has been all season, and it's probably been your best 2 starts of the year?
Not necessarily just turning it up, but just trying my best to just continue to do what I'm doing, and then getting better every single day with my pins and my work ethic. Most especially as I got later into the season, I could really focus on what helps me pitch in between my outings and what's going to make me better.
Cooper, you've caught him all year. How has Doug grown from when you were catching him back in February to now?
Looking back at the beginning of the year, he was coming out of the bullpen, and I always knew he was a good arm. But it used to be me kind of having to guide him through it a little bit more. Reminding him to make certain adjustments that clicks with him, just helping him get through it in any way possible. And then now I look back at tonight's game, and I just kind of was along for the ride. I was just kind of back there setting up. He was hitting the spot. I didn't really have to go down on my knees to block any balls. He was fantastic. And then, he's really good.
Mike, looking back now, when you put Doug into the weekend rotation at Missouri, how much did that stabilize y'all and kind of change the trajectory of your year?
Really? How much did it stabilize? I think it did stabilize it, and sometimes that happens. And going into I think the spring, Doug was one of the maybe 5 candidates that could start on the weekend, and I think one of the biggest things is he was a freshman. weren't real sure where we were going to go. When we went in a different direction with some older guys. But you could see it, certainly could see it in the fall. But then, as Coop said, out of the pen, down at Tulane and some other tight outings where he was terrific, and said, we need some help, on the front end of games. And then he starts against East Carolina here, and that game gets lost because the other guy pitches a no-hitter through 8, and Doug ends up, I think losing that game 3-2, and then he goes to Louisville. gives up 2 runs in the first inning and then doesn't give up another run, and we end up losing, you know, in a walk-off like in 10 or 11 innings, something like that there. And so some of those outings people forgot about, but he was really good against some, you know, 2, you know, regional host teams, national seed teams before he even started, you know, in the SEC.
Cooper, you guys are in this advantage position in the regional for a second straight year. What does it mean to y'all to be back in this position after last year?
I think just, you know, the biggest thing for us is to be where our feet are. You know, we don't know who we're going to play tomorrow, what time, and, you know, looking in the past really doesn't do you any good. So I think we're all feeling pretty good about the way we're playing right now, and I think we're feeling pretty confident about ourselves and about each other and about the team as a whole. And I think we're just right here, right now, and, you know, whoever we play and what time tomorrow, we'll show up and we'll do it, and we'll just keep playing the baseball we've been playing.
I mean, for Cole or Cooper, you see those guys hit 3 homers yesterday. You guys were both part of the 3 today. Is there a bit of that power hitting that's kind of contagious?
Yeah, I'd say it is. I'd say, you know, our lineup's getting more consistent to where we're all sticking with our approaches and, you know, just trying to do some damage, and that's what happens when we stick with our approach.
Mike Clemson starter had a perfect game through 8 innings, or in the 8th.
Start again.
Clemson starter had a perfect game through 8 through 7 1/3 his last outing at Louisville. Just what did you guys do? What was the game plan against him, and how were you able to have so much success?
Well, one of the things is we knew about, you know, Clark had tremendous, you know, command, and you know, especially with the fastball, you know, on both sides of the plate, and you know, what we had to do is get some good swings off. You know, we're watching film. There's a lot of because he can mix it up, because he can throw the ball on both sides of the plate, because he can throw his breaking ball and change up into the strike zone. There's a lot of soft contact, and, you know, one of the reasons he has a lot of success is because people get a lot of bad swings off, and, you know, we needed to be patient, get the ball up, and get some good swings off. We thought the right-handers would be okay against them. They would get enough pitches that they could get some swings off, but the left-handers sometimes are tentative, you know, against left-handed pitching, and you know, Coach Clem, you know, challenged them, you know, to swing, you know, to stay in the middle of the field, and, you know, a normal approach that you would against left-handers, but to swing, you know, to get some swings off, and, you know, obviously Zebo got, you know, a good swing off early in the game.
Mike, with Will and Doug both going distance these last couple of days, how big is it to have pretty much the whole bullpen available for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's terrific, you know, with Gunnar going, and, you know, on the front end, and but I mean, just the reason you asked the question, you know, other people are using up people, you know, through the first 2 days, and will tomorrow in the first game, and but at the end of the day, a lot will be made about that. You know, this is why you want to win this game, for all the reasons that we all know. But then you got to go out and play it. You got to go out and play well, and you know, we're excited. I think we're more excited that we're playing well, and we've played well here for a while now. Not just this weekend, but last weekend, and to continue to do that, I think that means more than arms in the bullpen and rest and all of those things.
Is there anything to kind of putting it all together when you come back here for the regionals? Hoover was some days when you were carried by the arms, and the Vandy game when he explodes for all the runs, and now you're getting runs, you're getting great outings from the pitcher. Is there anything to coming back home?
Is there something to coming back home? I don't understand the question. What's that?
I just think it's interesting that it's all kind of coming together at this moment here.
Well, and I think, you know, you've heard and seen and wrote about, you know, people peaking, or teams peaking at the right time, and getting hot at the right time, and you see that, you know, every year, and you know, hopefully we're one of those stories, you know, at the end. You know, that people say, hey, they played their best baseball, you know, at the end. This is a team we all knew, you know, back in February, we were talented. And there's times that we showed it. You know, there's times that we played really, really well against some really good teams and some tough environments, but we haven't done it consistently enough, you know, throughout the year. But, you know, the last couple of weeks we've played really well, and of course, to do it in your own stadium special, you know, it was a really neat crowd tonight, you know, and last night. You know, there's not many places, you know, in the country, you know, like this place, you know, especially in June.
Kevin's got double-digit home runs now in the season.
Yeah.
Did you kind of see that the fall? That kind of power was there?
You,
I mean,
you hope
just
and you think, but I mean, obviously we didn't see too much. He didn't start. He didn't start there. Maybe if the coach would have put him in earlier, maybe he'd have a lot more. But we knew certainly that there was some pop in that bat. There's that swing, and we knew when he committed years ago that he was a true hitter. It was one of those things. Is how were we going to get him on the field? With Keenan, Zebo, how does he get into it? And really, one of the things that I know you're not asking this, but one of the things that I think the story about Kevin is that he hung in there, because early on we went with some other guys that played last year and had a lot of success, and they haven't had the success this year, which happens in baseball sometimes. Sometimes guys just don't have good years, and so Kevin waited his turn and hung in there. And when we asked him, or called upon him, he's answered in big fashion here.
Does that kind of go for Tim too? Because he come up really big last couple days.
He was terrific tonight, and you're right. And Tim's one of those that for 2 years you could see it in him. He just hasn't done it much on the field. But man, that'd be a huge shot in the arm. If we can get that big right-handed bat in the lineup.
As far as his hand when he slid into first base there in that play.